Hello, everybody. Today I'm going to talk a bit about breath work. And breath work refers to control of the breath for a number of purposes, which can be spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical, and involves breathing exercises or techniques in which you practice awareness of and change your breathing pattern. It consists of a number of practices in which we consciously use our breath to shift our physical, mental, or emotional state. So I'll start by talking a bit about the history of breathwork and then discuss different types of breathwork practice, both ancient and modern. So breathwork has ancient roots, being first discussed in the ancient Indian philosophical text, the Upanishads. The first mention of the word pranayama appears in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, which dates to around 700 BCE, which links breathwork to the life force within us all. But the practices of breathwork are thought to be much earlier, dating back to around 3000 BCE. The Chandogya Upanishad is thought to have its origins much earlier and mentions the word prana. Jumping forward a bit to 400 BCE, the Bhagavad Gita also mentions the art of pranayama and discusses how we can use breathwork to reach a trance-like state of mind and to take control of our physiological state. The practice of pranayama is developed further in the Maitrayaniya Upanishad in around 400 BCE, which discusses pranayama as a complex system that can be used in a myriad of ways and introduces a 6-step process to become yogic masters. So the first step is pranayama, or breathing exercises. Then the second is sensory withdrawal, or pratyahara. The third is introspection, or dhaka. The fourth is complete focus, or dharana. The fifth is meditation, dhyana. And the sixth is union, or liberation, samadhi. Breath retention practices are discussed as methods to access one's higher power. There's also an introduction on how prana can be redirected into the body's energy channel through using the mantra Om. Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, which are a little bit later and written between 100 and 400 CE, add asana, or yoga poses, and niyama, ethical action, to the 6 steps and discuss breathing practices further. Meanwhile, in China, the practice of Qigong involved aligning breath, movement, and awareness, and is said to extend back more than 4,000 years. Qigong involves circulating qi, or qi, and gymnastic breathing exercises called Dao Yin, or guiding and pulling, and has roots in Confucianism, Taoism, and traditional Chinese medicine, as well as the martial arts. The idea of breath as the life force also existed in ancient Greek philosophy and medicine, with the concept of pneuma, an ancient Greek word for breath, life force, spirit, or soul, sometimes used interchangeably with the word psyche or psyche. In ancient Greek medicine, pneuma is the form of circulating air necessary for the functioning of our vital organs and sustains consciousness in a body. Anaximenes said that pneuma was the element from which everything originated. Aristotle, in the 4th century BCE, considered pneuma to be the mobile air that runs through all life. It is in the sperm and transmits the ability to move and sense to the offspring from the soul of the parent. Pneuma preserves the vital heat. Aristotle called the innate spirit symphyton pneuma and described it as the power of the soul to be mobile and exercise strength. In Stoic philosophy, pneuma is the breath of life, a mixture of the elements of air and fire, and is the active generative principle that organizes the individual and the cosmos. Pneuma as the human soul, or psyche, is a fragment of the pneuma that is the soul of Zeus, or Zeus. Pneuma is a force that permeates everything, including inanimate objects. Cleanthus, who was writing around the 4th to 3rd century BCE, described pneuma as intelligent spirit, akin to a current of air or breath, immanent in the universe as God, and in man as soul and the life-giving principle. Diocles in the 4th century BCE and Praxagoras in the 4th to 3rd centuries BCE discussed the concept of psychic pneuma mediating between the heart and the brain. Now, although there are no surviving records of ancient Greek breathwork exercises, as far as I know, at least not in English translation, it's likely, I believe, that breathwork was practiced and the importance of pneuma for health was discussed by the followers of Hippocrates and later by Erasistratus, who said that the pneuma inhaled from the outside air rushes through the arteries until it reaches the various centres, especially the brain and the heart, and there causes thought and organic movement. The pneumatic school of medicine was an ancient school of medicine in ancient Greece and Rome, founded in Rome by Athenius of Cilicia in the 1st century AD. It seems to me almost certain that breathing exercises would have been employed in ancient Greek medicine to ensure the healthy functioning of mind and body. There are references to breathwork in the Greek magical papyri from the Hellenistic period used for magical work, and in traditional Islamic medicine, which is called Unani Tib, which literally means Greek medicine. Breathwork is utilised in healing, and Unani Tib basically preserves ancient Greek medical practices from Hippocrates and Galen, Claudius Galenus. So why do we do breathwork? What does breathwork do for us? People practice breathwork for a variety of reasons. And overall, it's thought to bring about improvements in mental, physical, and spiritual well-being. It can improve our emotional state and decrease levels of stress in otherwise healthy people. People have practiced breathwork to aid positive self-development, to boost immunity, to process emotions, to heal emotional pain and trauma, to develop life skills, to develop or increase self-awareness, to enrich creativity, to improve personal and professional relationships, to increase confidence, self-image and self-esteem, to increase joy and happiness, to overcome addictions, to reduce stress and anxiety levels, to release negative thoughts, and to deal with anger issues, anxiety, chronic pain, depression, emotional effects of illness, grief, trauma, and post-traumatic stress disorder. It's also used by actors and musicians, and most importantly, possibly for pagans, to raise energy for magical work and to connect with the cosmos and create energy flow or relationship between self and the divine, the individual soul and the cosmic soul, and also to awaken the subtle energies within the body, the chakras, and improve awareness of the mind, body, spirit system. So there's a lot of different types of breath work, and I'm going to talk about a few of them, not all of them, because otherwise the talk will go on for hours. So I'll just talk a little bit about yogic practices, pranayama, qigong, and some of the more modern types of breath work, such as holotropic breath work, clarity breath work, and rebirthing breath work, as well as hermetics. So firstly, what is pranayama? Or what is prana? In Sanskrit, prana means life force and describes the energy that sustains the life of the body. Pra means primary, first, or innate, and ana from anu means the tiniest, smallest, indestructible unit of energy. The word pranayama is a combination of prana and ayama, which translates as to extend, expand, or draw out. Some also say that the word is a combination of prana and yama, or control. But both translations lead to the same concept, that pranayama is a practice that involves the management or control of the breath, which it is believed rejuvenates the body and extends life. Pranayama consists of techniques designed to gain mastery over the respiratory processes, whilst recognizing the connection between the breath, the mind, and the emotions. Pranayama can be practiced as a standalone practice, or it can be incorporated into asana practice, that is postures, yoga postures, coordinating your breath with your movements, and also with visualizations of the chakras as well. Pranayama is seen as a powerful tool for healing and for enhancing general vitality. Practices such as Nadi Shodhana or alternate nostril breathing, for example, has been practiced to synchronize the two hemispheres of the brain and to purify the subtle energy channels or nadis of the body so that the prana flows more easily during pranayama practice. There are said to be 72,000 nadis or energy channels in the human body, which spring from the three basic nadis, which can be seen on the picture here. The left called Ida, the right Pingala, and the central Sushumna. Ida, the lunar channel, and Pingala, the sun channel, represent the basic duality of existence, masculine and feminine, sun and moon, logical and intuitive, etc. Bringing balance between Ida and Pingala will make you effective in the world. Sushumna, the central space, remains dormant and is like an empty space, but once energies enter into Sushumna, you can attain to vairagya or transparency, which is like a transparency to the transcendent. The transcendent will shine within you. You become unprejudiced and you can explore all dimensions of life without attachment and without being sullied by them. So there are a number of different pranayama exercises. Ancient yogis thought of the body, particularly the torso, as a container for our vital energy. The body should be prepared for pranayama, especially for techniques that involve holding the breath or breathing forcefully or vigorously, such as Kapalabhati. And asana practice, so it's yoga postures, can strengthen the body for the physical aspects and results of the practice. So practicing purification and yoga postures help with the necessary preparation, and also meditation helps with the mental preparation. There are many different types of yogic breathing techniques and many variations on how they're taught. Some of the more common ones are Ujjayi pranayama, or victorious breath, sometimes also called ocean breath, which is practiced by gently constricting the opening of the throat to create some resistance to the passage of air. Gently pulling the breath in on inhalation and gently pushing the breath out on exhalation against this resistance creates a well-modulated and soothing sound, something like the sound of ocean waves rolling in and out. Samavriti pranayama, or box breathing, involves breathing in through your nose, slowly counting to 4, feeling the air filling your lungs. You then hold your breath and slowly count to 4 again, trying not to clamp your airway shut. Then slowly exhale to the count of 4, holding the exhale for another 4 counts. And keep repeating this cycle or breathe until you feel calm and centered. Dirgya pranayama is often called 3-part breath. It involves briefly interrupting your inhalations and or exhalations with pauses. It raises your awareness of your lung capacity and the structure of your torso. This involves lying in a reclined position, either flat on your back or propped up by cushions or blankets. Inhale to 1/3 of the lungs capacity, then pause for 2 to 3 seconds. Inhale another 1/3, pause again, and inhale until the lungs are filled. Pause, then repeat the pattern on the exhale, exhaling the breath in thirds. You may also practice pausing only on the inhalation, then releasing the full breath on one exhalation, or vice versa. Take in 1 deep breath, then exhale in 3 parts. And this can be combined again with yoga exercises, physical exercises. Nadi Shodhana pranayama is alternate nostril breathing, and it's practiced to help calm the body and mind. It can regulate your nervous system by activating the body's relaxation response. For this, you sit in a comfortable posture or asana and make Vishnu mudra with your right index and middle finger folded in to meet the base of your thumb and the other fingers extended. Your left hand can rest on your left thigh or in your lap. It can also be used to support your right elbow. You close your right nostril with your thumb and inhale through your left nostril, then close your left nostril with your ring finger and little finger, and after a very brief pause, open and exhale slowly through the right nostril, opening that nostril by lifting your thumb. Keep the right nostril open, inhale, then close it, and open and exhale slowly through the left. This is one cycle. This cycle is then repeated 3 to 5 times. Then the hand releases the mudra and you go back to normal breathing. Another technique is Kapalabhati, or skull shining breath. Kapalabhati, also sometimes called skull brightener, consists of alternating short explosive exhales and slightly longer passive inhales. Exhalations are generated by powerful contractions of the lower belly between the pubis and the navel, which push air out of the lungs. Inhalations are in response to the release of this contraction, which sucks air back into the lungs. You can begin to practice this technique in a seated position or a reclined position with your fingers placed lightly on your belly. So for this exercise, you focus on your lower belly. If needed, cup one hand lightly in the other and press them gently against your lower belly. With practice, you'll have more abdominal control and your hands placed on your belly might not be necessary. Now you quickly contract your lower belly, pushing a burst of air out of your lungs. Then quickly release the contraction or your hands so the belly rebounds to suck air into your lungs. Pace yourself slowly at first. Repeat this 8 to 10 times at about 1 exhale-inhale cycle every second or two. As you become more adept at contracting and releasing your lower belly, you can increase your pace to about 2 exhale-inhale cycles every second. Whilst you're doing this, imagine the exhalation sweeping out or brightening the inner lining of your skull. And this helps to awaken the crown chakra or energy center. So 25 to 30 cycles should be done at first, gradually increasing the number of cycles you do to 100 or more eventually. So there's a lot more pranayama exercises than that, but I'm not going to go through them all. I'll go now on to some more modern techniques of breath work. So holotropic breath work is a therapeutic breathing technique meant to assist you with emotional coping and personal growth. Holotropic breathwork was established in the 1970s by Dr. Stan Grof and Christina Grof, who were a husband and wife team. And its goal is to bring about improvements to your psychological, spiritual, and physical well-being. Usually sessions are carried out in a group and facilitated by a certified practitioner. And you're guided to breathe at a fast rate for a set amount of time in order to bring about an altered state of consciousness. And this will be carried out lying down. Music is used in the holotropic breathwork session, and afterwards you might be guided to draw a mandala and have a discussion about your experience with the group. So holotropic breathwork basically draws on Hindu Indian techniques of pranayama and mandala. Then the next is rebirthing breathwork. So rebirthing technique was developed by Leonard Orr in the United States, and the technique is also known as conscious energy breathing. And proponents consider that unprocessed or repressed emotions have a physical impact on the body, and that this could be caused by trauma or because the emotions were too difficult or painful to deal with at the time. Detrimental thoughts or behavior patterns, which refer to how a person has been conditioned to react to events throughout their life, may be contributing factors for unprocessed emotions. So the goal of rebirthing is the use of breathing exercises as a self-healing practice to help people work on blocked emotions and energy. So during a rebirthing breathwork session, practitioners of rebirthing breathwork advise you that you do a rebirthing session under the supervision of a qualified instructor only. And during the session, you relax and use what is known as conscious connected circular breathing. This is where your breaths are continuous with no spaces or retention between breaths. During this time, you may have an emotional release thought to be triggered by subconscious feelings and thoughts. Practitioners of this type of breath work believe that bringing the adverse aspects of past trauma to the surface and letting go of them may bring about inner peace and a higher level of consciousness. Clarity breath work. This is a technique developed by Ashana Solaris and Dan DeLong, also called Dharma Devi, and it's similar to rebirthing breath work. And this practice supports healing and transformation by clearing blocked emotions through the physiological impact of controlling your breath. Through this type of breath work, you'll practice circular or continuous breathing. With this practice, you may learn to have a greater awareness of the present moment. The goals of clarity breathwork are to support healing, have higher energy levels, and experience better mental or creative focus through specific breathing methods. Before a clarity breathwork session, you'll have an interview or counselling session with a practitioner and set intentions for your session. You'll use circular breathing as you're guided through the session, and the session will end with a time for sharing. Buteyko breathing technique was founded by a Ukrainian doctor, Konstantin Buteyko, and this was created in the 1950s. This therapeutic breathing method uses breath retention exercises to control the speed and volume of your breath. This helps you to learn to breathe more slowly, calmly, and effectively. The benefits of Buteyko breathing include enhanced breath control, which helps to prevent breathlessness and promote proper breathing patterns. It's used to manage and improve a variety of conditions, including asthma, anxiety, and sleep concerns. Circular breathing is a technique used by singers and wind instrumentalists to help create a continuous and uninterrupted tone. The technique, which requires inhaling through the nose, allows you to maintain sound for long periods of time. Circular breathing can also be practiced during meditation for both mental and physical benefits. Circular breathing involves switching back and forth between breathing through the lungs and the cheeks. According to the Smithsonian, singers in Tuva, the Russian Republic near Mongolia, use circular breathing to produce multiple notes at the same time. More commonly known as Tuvan throat singing, the tradition uses ancient techniques to project a voice in their chest while controlling their throat, mouth, and lips at the same time. Singers are trained from a young age on how to control their throat muscles. Other cultures who have throat singing in their heritage include the Xhosa people of South Africa, the Chukchi people of northern Russia, the Ainu people of northern Japan, and the Inuit people of North America. And I believe that I've seen a group of Inuit people practicing throat singing at an ancestral voices festival many years ago. The circular breathing is a technique that keeps oxygen flowing in and out of your body without interruption. Singers and wind instrumentalists use the technique to maintain continuous, uninterrupted tones for long periods of time, and the practice is also used in meditation. Now, the last type of breath work that I'm going to talk about is hermeticism. Francis Bardon wrote a well-known book called Initiation into Hermetics, and in that he discusses breath work as a magical technique. Bardon says that breathing is to be given your very careful consideration, as there is no life at all without breathing. All we need for our life and what preserves our life, that is breathing and food, is tetrapolar, according to Bardon. That is, there are 4 elements plus a 5th, the vital element or Akasha principle. But the air we're breathing has a finer degree of density than the grossly material food has. But according to the universal laws, both of them have the same nature, being tetrapolar and serving to keep the body alive. Bardon says that oxygen is subject to the fiery element and nitrogen to the element of water. The airy element is the mediating element, and the earth element is that which holds together the oxygen and the nitrogen. The Akasha or etheric element is the lawful, causal, or divine principle. By normal or unconscious breathing, the body is supplied only with as much elemental substance as is necessary for its normal preservation. But it's quite different with conscious breathing. If we put a thought or an idea or an image, no matter whether it is concrete or abstract, in the air to be inhaled, it will take in the Akasha principle of the air concerned and convey it through the electric and magnetic fluids to the air substance. This impregnated air will then play a double role when it is conveyed to the lungs through the blood vessels. In the first place, the material parts of the elements are destined to preserve the body. Secondly, the electromagnetic fluid charged with the idea or the image will lead the electromagnetic air coloured with the idea from the bloodstream through the astral matrix to the astral body, and from there to the immortal spirit through the reflective mental matrix. Consequently, it's quite evident that it's not the quantity of inhaled air that matters, but the quality respecting the idea impregnating the air substance. Therefore, it's not necessary nor even advisable to pump the lungs full with a lot of air, putting a needless strain on them. Consequently, if you'll do your breathing exercises slowly and calmly without any haste, it will be better. So sit down comfortably, relax the whole body and breathe in through your nose. Imagine that with the inhaled air, health, tranquility, peace, success, or everything you are aiming at will pass into your body through the lungs and the blood. The eidetic image of your idea must be so intense that the air you are inspiring is so strongly impregnated with your desire that it has already become reality. Barden says that you should not allow the slightest doubt about this fact. And to avoid weakening, it will be enough to start with 7 inhalations in the morning as well as at night. Increase the number of breaths gradually to 1 more in the morning and at night. Do not hurry or exaggerate, for everything needs time. In any case, you should not proceed to the imagination of another different desire before the first chosen one has been completely accomplished. So that is as much as I will talk about for now. There's a lot more that I could talk about, but many of the breath techniques, whether they're new under different titles, still draw on ancient techniques from India, China, and ancient Greek ideas.